Sweden 2012. Copy pasted in YouTube search function itself. Exact text. Don't attempt. Okay. Might be a little. No, I'm just kidding. Sonic the Hedgehog. What's up? Oh yes, everyone go subscribe to my backup channel. It's been killing it. That's been popping too, Tupa.
Hell yeah, dude.
Epic Crane Wishes. Epic. Our paper crane wishes epic. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I think people could hear us. If you can't hear us, let us know. Live audio is really not fun. Good morning, UFO. Lovely mod. I'm staying up late for Red Panda Koala. So cool. Third phase of the moon was on like 2 hours earlier. Good time slots for me. LOL. Nice. Thank you. Heather Birdie, another lovely mod. Can you go live now, Panda? LOL. Was I late? Oh no, it was a little early. I guess there was nothing good going on and you fell in at the time. B's here. Hell yeah. Derek. Oh, always love you. Jess. Welcome, thank you, and cool. Molten says they can hear everything's going good. We are live. We're doing it like Skyfire days. Okay, so I think this is actually a pretty important topic, and kind of I don't think I've seen anyone in the field recently come at this angle with it all. Right, Tuba?
I agree. Yeah.
And so basically the premise here of the night is we're going to be going through a bunch of different UFO media personalities and people. And by the way, this isn't like me talking crap about anyone. I hate how when we like speak truth, it kind of seems like we're like talking crap about people. I'm not. You know what I mean?
It's a good thing to do to frame this. Like, hey, we're looking at a coincidence that's occurred between a bunch of people. We're not saying any individual person is responsible or is a sucker or is gullible, but all together it paints a picture. And maybe there's no causation, but there's correlation. Maybe we don't know. But like Red said, we've never heard anyone talk about this. But they keep stacking up, and it's getting weird. It's getting
so
really
many,
weird.
And they're so similar. So basically, the premise is a lot of UFO media people have had fairly similar UFO sightings. At not just similar sightings, but also similar in the sense of it's kind of at opportune times, or it galvanizes them. They'll speak about this. So like, this is my first sighting. It was when I dropped a paper about this. This was my first sighting. It's when I visited Lou Elizondo. It's when I visited Chris Bledsoe. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're gonna look and basically, and like I said, wait 1 second. Sorry, I had a cough there. Not talking crap on any of these people. A lot of them I'm big fans of. And I'm not even saying for sure it's all human ops, right? Like that's one of the ways to look at this. Like this is just Scientologists in a van. Giving little drone shows for people at opportune times to like galvanize them on their, missions or whatnot. Or I'm even open to, bro. That's why the title's human or alien ops. Or is it actually the NHI, like acting on some kind of divine stuff? People even here say it. They feel like there's some kind of outside influence here, because people get galvanized, do they not? But what happens? Our experiencers not like the most prone / at risk group to like whip up in any way, good, bad.
Even if you don't consider like them being a target to be whipped up, like if you're a believer or an experiencer, when you go and you talk publicly, you're going to have an earnest, genuine nature about yourself that's going to help push any narrative. Whatever you're pushing, if you believe it in your heart and soul, you're going to be able to push it even better. And so it seems like a lot of these individuals who are basically like media assets at a very convenient time for the person leaking them information, or whoever their little intel asset is, suddenly they have these experiences. And the word galvanize was perfect, Panda. Like they are galvanized. They are like in it to win it. After that, they have like deer in the headlights. And even when they repeat their story to other people, I don't know if they realize how kind of deer in the headlights they look when they're talking about it. It's like the experience itself kind of removes the doubt that one would have, or the self-awareness that one would have about talking about this, because they become in some ways true believers.
Yeah, and there was another point I wanted to make there too, but maybe that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, and honestly, I think we're gonna have to do 2 of these, because this one's kind of, because there's all these weirdo little operations it seems like happening, and some of them involve sightings, some of them just involve like people interactions. We're gonna cover some of that, but I had to break this up into 2 things, right? Because it's like we could do a whole nother episode about this in relation to like the effects people have around Skinwalker Ranch, and if that's like human induced or alien induced. Yeah, so this is, and also I think for the next one too, there's another kind of weird thing going on with Havana syndrome in the community, where various people are reporting like vans, and Amy Eskridge, Jeremy Scientist, Tupa here was on a stream with them talking about that. So We're definitely going to do another version of human or alien ops, but this one is kind of more focused on the sightings. But even then, it's like the part 2 will totally mesh with this as well. Because if it is human ops, it's probably the same humans doing all of it. Or if it's aliens, probably the same aliens doing all of it too. All right. You ready to get into this, Tupa? Let me double check real quick too that we're streaming on X all good. Oh yeah, boom. Hell yeah. Cool. Now it's looking good.
All right.
I didn't update the layout for a while. Like I didn't click the final like save update, so it was looking like super shoddy there for the first 5 minutes of that. But now we're good. We got the right proportions. Okay. Let's go ahead and start this then. It's been a while since I've done this too. Let's see.
So, we've had.
So first we got Dave Foley. Oh, darn it. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't have time. But I wanted to look up B-roll of Dave Foley. Were you familiar about Dave Foley? He's an actor and comedian.
Yeah, very
before
familiar.
like any UFO stuff. Can you tell me about him? Because I was not.
He was involved in a very good sketch comedy show. It was Canadian, called Kids in the Hall. And they're like iconic. So SNL was American, Kids in the Hall was not live, but it was Canadian, and they spawned so many different like staples of comedy, and it bled over into America as well. Some of the cast ended up joining SNL. He went on to do a show called News Radio with Joe Rogan. Right.
Real quick, while you're going through it, I pulled this up. Let's just watch a little bit of that, and then I want to watch the News Radio show too. Let's see. We're just gonna do it live. Here we go. Boom. So this is Kids in the Hall. So you said this is like Canadian
sketch comedy. It's one of
Saturday
my favorite.
Night Live.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows
Okay.
growing up for sure.
This is probably gonna get copyright strikes. So it's good to be here for the live shows. Let's see. So this is Dave Foley, right? This is him.
Yes, sir.
Sleeping dogs lie. I say no. And you know what sleeping dogs I'm referring to, don't you? No? Well, let me refresh your memory. Russians. That's right. Russians, Ruskies, communists. Communists. Oh, now you remember. Well, do you also remember how a few years ago all we ever talked about was how the Russians were going to take over the world, and how every household would be run by communists and their filthy communism? Oh, yeah, we feared the Russians back in them days, and for good reason, too. But now all I ever hear is, poor little Russia, they've got no money. Poor little Russia, they've gone broke. Poor little Russia this, and poor little Russia that. Don't you?
So that's fun. And then you said he was on News Radio, and I got a clip up here with Joe Rogan and him.
I love Kids in the Hall. I've never seen that sketch. I just stand by that sketch.
I guess things were just different back in the day. But no, I mean, that's cool. I'm not trying to.
Well, no,
take
as we get further
It's
away
funny.
from whenever art was made, it becomes less like relevant or whatever. So, but yeah, he's super funny in that. They have had some movies, and this show blew up, dude. And it didn't launch. It might have helped launch Joe Rogan's career for sure.
Let's see
as
this.
actor.
Okay. So, yeah, this is in the 90s.
Sure,
Oh, yeah.
the so-called Long Island Lolita, who was also implicated in the case, is currently serving 5 to 15 years at Albion Correctional Facility. And that's where they are now for this Tuesday. Matthew Brock, WNYX
Oh, this
News.
homeboy's in it? He's like wilding right now, right?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
been wilding since day one. Andy Dick
What
is
this? Yeah, Andy
yeah.
Dick. Oh, no. Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
Radio. Bill?
Phil Hartman, the late great Phil Hartman.
Bill.
Thank you, Matthew, for that unusual report. WNYX News Time, 12:45.
What's going on, guys?
Matthew, I think you mispronounced that guy's name a few times.
What? It's Joey Butter. No, it isn't Matthew.
There's Dave, right? Alongside
It's,
Andy Dick.
But Foucault. But Foucault.
What did I say?
Well, Matthew, of all the possible mispronunciations of that name, you seem to have stumbled upon absolutely the worst one.
I don't know what you mean.
Think about it.
Nice job, Matthew. My cab driver really got a kick out of that.
Yeah. Lisa, I'm on it, okay?
Well, if you were
Look how
really
young
on
they
it,
all
Dave,
were,
we wouldn't
dude.
be doing a story about Joey
Right,
Butter
yeah.
Foucault in the first place.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I miss sitcoms,
You sort
dude.
of see it now, huh?
Oh, John.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. All right, here's what we're gonna do.
That's okay, Lisa. I'll take
Riff
it.
on sitcoms for a second, just to maybe break up in case it's copyrighted, because this is gold. I want to hopefully keep this in
Like
here.
the laugh track too is reassuring at times, right? When the comedy is good and it's dynamic enough, it's great. Like especially when it comes down to ensemble cast like this, right? But then you can really fall into these traps. Like there was a point where it became unfunny. At that same time, it became unfunny because of things like The Office, Parks and Rec, and whatnot. You had new shows start that had laugh tracks. One of them was there's two main ones, How I Met Your Mother, and then The Big Bang Theory. Those two shows, relying on laugh tracks so heavily, became like the last refuge for people who enjoyed that style to kind of watch.
We were saying it's a live studio audience. That's not a laugh track, brother.
We'll see about that.
They are cozy though, huh? Laugh tracks.
Dude, they are. But I like them when I watch older shows. Was what I was getting to. I would not watch a regular show with it unless it was a spoof or a parody or an homage or something.
Okay, we're gonna let this ride just because we're having fun. You know, it's loose, and also like again, no shame towards Dave Foley that he's included in this thing.
But what about Dave
this,
Foley?
This is all amazing. This is dope. This is
Dave
great.
Foley, Andy Dick, Phil Hartman, and Joe Rogan.
Dude. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a dream team there.
Here.
We'll just issue a short correction and a formal apology to Mr. Bettafuco.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Lisa. Did I miss a memo or something? I'm still the news director, right?
Well, not for long. If this is how you're gonna run the station.
Look, what is with you? I mean, do you really think you can do this job better?
Haven't I been clear on that?
Well, all right, it would be easier for you because, I mean, you wouldn't have someone like you haranguing you all the time.
Dave, that makes no sense at all.
Well, not as much as I'd hoped it would, but you get the point.
I, for one, am outraged.
Oh, there he is.
Joe, I'm sorry.
Way to go, dude. I can't believe you pulled it off.
I didn't pull anything off. That was a mistake, Joe.
Look, I got it on tape. We can make copies. $10, $15 a pop for these.
What?
I got blank tapes in my van. We'll bang it out over lunch.
No, Joe.
Big market.
Oh
Same
my
people buy sports bloopers.
Oh, God, Joe. No.
Look, don't worry about your cut. I'll break you off a piece. Just keep it up with the mistakes.
This guy.
So, who called first, the FCC or Mr. Buttafuco's lawyers?
We're airing a short
do love this
correction
shit, yeah.
and a formal apology, Mr. James.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, Lisa, we are not.
Okay. Who did I hire as a news director here?
I'm sorry, Mr. James.
No, I'm really asking. I lose track of these things.
That would be me.
Good, then you figure out what to do.
Dave, please don't fire me.
Make sure you get Lisa's input.
Lisa, just tell Dave not to fire me.
Well, I'll do the best I can, Matthew, but you know, Dave has a mind of his own, God bless him.
Matthew, I'm just glad you didn't do a story about Forrest Tucker.
I don't get it.
Think about it.
Oh,
What a good vibe that
Right?
time was, huh? Yeah.
Right? Like the
Is it just
laughter
nostalgia, or
kinda,
is it was
Yeah.
actually a vibe? Yeah, both, maybe.
both for sure. I mean, this was one of those shows too that never got worn out because it was never mainstream. It was always like a kind of an outcast crew. And you know what I mean? It was never Seinfeld
Yeah.
level. But Joe Rogan's name is Joe.
In
Phil
the
Hartman's
show?
name is Phil. And I
Oh,
think
nice.
Dave's name is Dave in this show.
Interestingly enough, Joe Rogan appears in this episode too. Both kind of on the topic of what we're talking about of are aliens or people inducing these experiences in people. Okay, so that's Dave Foley. Super dope resume. I mean, I think he's still like an actor, right? He's doing stuff to this day.
Yeah,
Um,
they did a new season of Kids in the Hall recently. It was okay.
Oh, that's cool. Like
Yeah.
we're back kind of thing. What's it
Yeah.
called?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
They came
It's
back.
fun.
It was fun, dude. It was really
He
good.
seems like a good guy. He
Mhm.
seems like a genuine dude. He doesn't. I don't get like the vibes that like he's a shady character. If anything,
No.
I feel like he's like too good. You know what I mean? And that's like almost maybe why.
He's like Hollywood royalty. So he's like, he's like a normal guy for Hollywood. He's like not known for controversy or anything. He's a nice dude, and Canadian. They have a reputation. And so, yeah, seeing him involved in this, I was surprised when I started seeing him talk about it on Joe Rogan. I was like, what the fuck, dude? This guy is into UFOs. I was blown away. Then he followed me.
Does he still follow you, or did he
Nah.
unfollow you?
Nah.
When did he unfollow you? The Discord. Okay.
Yeah.
So shout out for Dave Foley Senior Discord messages. I love it. Okay. So now we're gonna get into it. And again, this isn't even a knock on Corbell or anything, but it's worth noting. We're gonna listen to Dave Foley's first UFO experience that he had like immediately after shooting Weaponized for the first time. This was also Jeremy Corbell's first UFO experience, apparently. So I want people to kind of notice that too. Notice both of their reactions, and this is both of their first ever UFO experience. Think about how much time Jeremy Corbell has invested in the UFO topic and how kind of casual he is about his experience. That might be me polluting the jury there, but before we even play the clip, do you have any thoughts on the fact that his first UFO sighting was right after filming Weaponized while he was with Corbell?
I think as the episode goes on, people might understand how strange that becomes.
Yeah, right. We're gonna sound like a hater in the beginning, but once we're on like example 6 of this, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, I could kind of see what they're saying now. And again, I'm not even saying it's all Scientologist and Vans. It could very well be the phenomenon. Wink, wink. All right, here we go.
A chance to have a lot of conversations about UFOs on this program and then privately, just being friends. And you guys had a sighting not too far from the cabin here up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. After I'd done the first, after the first time I'd been on Weaponized with you guys. Yeah. Then hanging with Jeremy, and we saw a very distinctly a large orangey gold craft.
You were in by that point.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
How did it reinforce what you already thought? But did it change it in any way?
And part of it was that feeling of, oh no, now people are just gonna say, oh, he's only saying this because he's a UFO nut who claims he's seen a UFO. But it did definitely. It removed any lingering doubt I had that this was real. You know, when you see something like the thing we saw, and this, I remember, and this, always the case when you describe it. I remember someone said, well, what you probably saw was the interior lighting of the wheel well of a passing jet. And I'm going, well, I think I would have heard the jet part, and but it's like, so you get all these insane explanations. Those things we were just out there in this field or out on the road in the middle of the countryside, surrounded by like orange groves, and it was such a beautiful night. And again, from where we were, I could see all the commercial air traffic in the distance. And it just seemed like, here we are, you've dedicated your adult life to this. And I'm deep into this all of a sudden. Yeah. And that, neither of us has ever seen anything.
We're lucky to have seen it.
And I thought, I said, well, this would be a great night to see something. And then 30 seconds later, I didn't get to see it come.
And the chain reaction of that moment with you and what that did, you said last night to me and George, so funny, you're like, seems like they're micromanaging. I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah, no, it does feel that way.
So you're
the
like,
other one I saw was actually,
we've had a
sorry guys. But he even said there, right? It feels like they're micromanaging. We're gonna have to do this like this, darn it. So I feel like he's like picking up on something's up. Like they're micromanaging.
That's the road.
The other one I saw.
We've had.
Dude, we're getting our sea legs back, bro. But that's one of the most interesting things about these cases is that almost at no point do these people suspect anything. At like no point, and they're like on it.
A lot of the time, they're like so close to it.
They're on it.
Yeah, they're like right there.
But instead of attributing the strangeness to a setup, what they attribute it to is they validate the phenomenon and their own journey along the way. They believe that is their first interaction with the phenomenon and that everything has led up to these moments. That's how galvanizing these events are for these celebrities and these assets. They become like keystone moments that make them push even further, that make them go on the ledge by going to a popular podcast. You know what I mean? Like, look at someone we didn't include in here, I don't know if we did or not, is Tom DeLonge. Now, like, I don't know if he had the same, I don't know what his sighting experiences are. I think they kind of go back before this stuff, but he had the same thing.
In the next one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, remember when he went into Joe Rogan? And he clearly had been in a bubble for years, talking with insiders about videos that are probably fake, talking to Lou Elizondo about chandeliers. And when he goes on Rogan, he has no breaks. He has no, he's so convinced that everything that he's seen, everything he's
Chandeliers and dead
experienced,
babies and stuff.
exactly, dude. And he looks kind of wild to Joe, and it's one of those things where I don't think they got Joe like that.
Yeah, and we'll see that. We'll see that coming up here too. And real quick, Stone Date, $10. Thank you so much for Scientology research. Hell yeah, the super chats are on. Okay, hopefully not mess this up. Let's let it ride more.
Always the case when you describe it. I remember someone said, "Well, what you probably saw was the interior lighting of the wheel well of a passing jet." And I'm going, "Well, I think I would have heard the jet part," And but it's like, so you get all these insane explanations. Those things where we were just out there in this field or out on the road in in the middle of the countryside, surrounded by like orange groves, and it was such a beautiful night. And again, from where we were, I could see all the commercial air traffic in the distance, and it just seemed like, here we are. You've dedicated your adult life to this, and I'm deep into this all of a sudden, and that neither of us has ever seen anything.
We're lucky to have seen it.
And I thought, I said, but this would be a great night to see something. And then 30 seconds later, I didn't get to see it come.
And the chain reaction of that moment with you and what that did, you said last night to me and George, so funny, you're like, seems like they're micromanaging. I just thought that was really funny.
NHI, yeah, no, it does feel that way. I mean, as a result, and again,
George
NHI, what we're talking about obliquely will be public soon. But it does feel like that moment of you and I, because you and I, I mean, I would not have done a podcast if you and I hadn't seen that that craft, because we saw it, and I thought, well, look, I should talk about this I should go on Twitter.
I'm going to try and pause it till the end.
Because in my mind, I thought a lot of people see stuff and they're afraid to talk about it.
Yes.
And maybe if I talk about it, other people will feel less afraid or at least feel less crazy
fuck, I'm going to try it.
alone.
Damn.
Okay, Hugh. So a lot of things there. First, can we talk about, not only is this Dave Foley recounting his sighting, this is Jeremy Corbell. I've never heard Jeremy Corbell talk about his sighting.
Yeah.
Right. So this is also Jeremy Corbell's sighting. And is it me or is he kind of casual with it?
I don't know. He's letting Dave Foley's excitement tell the story. And that's the goal, in my opinion. Okay. The goal was always to get actors and media assets, get them to have a real experience, something that they consider real, and then to let them just do their thing, right? Let them tell the story. Let them, exclaim how interesting it was, how pivotal it was, or whatever. And that's what he's doing. He's doing it perfectly here.
Right there, he says, right, I probably wouldn't have done the podcast if I didn't have this sighting with you, right? So now you're locked and loaded. And again,
he goes, I went on Twitter. And I'm like, no, that's the limb. These experiences get these guys to go out on a limb, put their name out there, risk it all, and be like, you know what? No, I'm convinced now.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's let it ride a little bit more. Pray that I click it. Good.
Micromanaging.
And so I got on, and what happened was like literally thousands of people started interacting with me and telling their experiences, some very similar to ours.
Mm-hmm. So similar craft.
Well, that's similar, but the similar experience, to me, like that similar experience of
talking about it,
shows up, and then feeling like the craft was interacting with us in a way that it was, like that they felt like their responses didn't feel normal, didn't feel like they were responding properly.
That you were responding properly to what you were saying.
Yeah, that it wasn't. Yeah. Oh, and again, so I have no emotional connection to
Thanks,
the
Jeremy.
event
Look at his look
in our lives.
Yeah.
I just have a very clear.
Okay, so I think that's that. But again, it's like and I'll be good cop, you're bad cop. But like, how would you not, like, if you for the first time spoke publicly about UFOs on this podcast, right, and then you saw a UFO, wouldn't you feel compelled to do something, or like that was some kind of sign or something? You know what I mean? I would 100%. 100% I would take that as some kind of like, okay, I'm on the right path, question mark, or like, what do you think, Tupa? Before, when you were wide-eyed with all this stuff, when you were like disclosure green or whatever, how would you have taken it if you got invited to Elizondo's ranch and then you saw a UFO out there?
It would have been insane, and like it would have caused almost like a push down the hill as a snowball effect. A lot of the things that I experienced afterwards, I might have attributed to being on the path, right? It's a supernatural experience. So feeling like it happened, and that there was like a reason behind it, and there was a bigger picture thing, and that maybe you were called on to talk about it. And yeah, that would, all of that would feed into that whole thing. It would really help to deceive me personally.
Yeah, 100%. We do have a super chat from Beats and Meats. Skyfire News, taking it back to a simpler time. Yes, good times. Can I donate $10 more and hear all about the Fetty?
Oh,
do you have that somewhere? I don't have it.
Somewhere. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, next stream we're going to have all this stuff logged in because StreamYard just wiped everything. So we have to reload all that stuff in manually. We can definitely get that in the mix for you guys next time for sure. Because I was literally missing it the whole time. As soon as I saw Tiff Super Chat, I'm like, oh no.
These are the only assets we have. Let's see. A little Jersey Soprano. Then we got
That's a
this
strong one.
This was prophetic, by the way. When I made this, so this was prophetic.
If I eventually sue somebody, I got to figure out, who's really worth it and who can I make a statement with, and who will people look at and say, wow, that was a hell of a lesson that was taught. I'm not going to do anything illegal or that hurts national security simply because some armchair quarterback who's been sitting in his mother's basement in his underwear demands an answer from me. If you think you can do a better job, then get your butt out of the chair, go get a job.
So like two weeks after I made that, Richard Doty and Lou Elizondo teamed up and falsely accusing me and Tupa of being Greer Mossad agents. So right, was that not kind of a prophetic meme, bro? We're tapped into something with these memes, bro.
I mean, there's something I'm noticing too, is that some of these people are plugged and they're not really revealing how they're plugged. You and I are some of the only people over all these years who've turned out to not be connected in some backdoor way to some of these people.
Channels, bro. Stay out of the back channels, guys.
Yeah, and don't take privileged information that you can't repeat somewhere.
We should do a live stream about the whole Doty Elizondo saga, and I do want to make an edited video. There's just so much stuff to do. I know, by the way, my drone dog part 2 is almost done. But I was I want to.
How's your first one doing? How's part 1?
Doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good on X. X has been good.
It's the best, dude. X
is the best for that kind of.
And the other one I saw was.
All right, so now we got Michael Shellenberger.
Shelly boy.
We got the recent hearing. I should have put a picture of that up there. Maybe I'll look for it as we do it. But Matthew Brown, right? The Nokian sigil master himself, Matthew Brown, the whistleblower from what's it called, Immaculate Constellation. He put this on. He came around originally around the Grush times, but listen to this story, and hopefully I edited it good. Let's see.
I love that energy.
Yeah, Joe's on it, and we're just gonna let this go. He's googling it. He's searching for it. There's all this kind of weird stuff. Sorry if it sounds really awkward. I think you just gotta let it ride. I don't want to risk
Can't you lower the volume of the clip?
Yeah.
But don't risk.
I say let's just let it ride, bro.
Yeah, I don't mind the chipmunks.
How long ago was this?
Look at the doubt though. This is actually really interesting.
Yeah, right.
Look at the doubt. It's collapsing. He's starting to think about it. I'm about to show Joe Rogan this evidence now. Verbally it was cool, but now that I'm about to show him, it's good. Yeah, he has to look.
Is his head hanging in shame right now?
No, but he's feeling the pressure of having to deliver the photo, which starts the doubt of the photo itself. Now, at some point, he's going to start doubting it, and I think that Joe's picking up on this. His resolve is over. Joe's a fighter, so he's watching this guy the whole time. You know what I mean?
He's a scrapper. He's been down bad before. All right, let's see. So he's about to ask him when this was, and this is an important data point too, right? With kind of like with Dave Foley before this, right when he was hanging out with Corbell. Listen to when this sighting happened.
And it must have been
immediately. So we're not even crazy. We're not crazy.
Joe knows. If you look at this like a fight, he's stress testing this guy's belief system to see has he ever doubted these beliefs? Who's put him on this track? You ever wonder if the guy's Michael Shellenberger, God bless his heart, clearly has never thought about that. He's oh, there's a synchronicity. Oh.
You get so wrapped up, you don't even think to consider there's people in this field who are crazy manipulative, and know the like ontological shock that people have when they see something, and know that they could like fake it and induce it and weaponize it. But Joe, like again, we got to go here. He immediately calls it out.
How long ago was this? It was.
We're gonna play a clip next of where Eric Weinstein's on there because Joe's familiar with game. Joe knows all these people, and he knows, I think, some of the shady shit that we kind of suspect is going on. Yeah, so hopefully this could stay in the final thing. But dude, Joe going there right away, he knows, bro. That's quick thought. Fuck it, we'll let it ride. All right.
I agree 100%. He's picking away at these guys as like defenses, and he's watched over the course of the years. We watched as viewers, but he had to deal with the dinners before and after, right? He had to deal with all the meetings, all the phone calls, all the DMs before and after, and he has a much better view on all these things. We can call it out in hindsight, but he had to live through it. I think you're right. The gloves are off here with Shellenberger. He's like, dude, can you consider that this is all fucked up?
Been down bad before. This is where his mind goes after he drops the. Do you think they're droning you? Right? He goes into like basically like the whole disclosure narrative. Percent of Chinese lander. Everyone in the chat, as we go through this too, let us know. So for the Foley one, let us know if you think that was a human op or an alien op. And for this one, did Shellenberger see an orb UFO, or did somebody place up a Chinese lantern right when the two runners let him know that he was looking up at the sky? And the day that he published a story on UFOs for the first time, to entice him and to use his platform, which they totally have.
Yeah, it could happen. Play the clip again, and then I want you people to look at the lighter area above the brightest area.
When I hear one of these stories, I'm just like, oh, dead face, like
oh,
like oh. Sohila says, nah, that's way too elaborate. He would have just assumed he'd be looking in that direction at the sky at that time. Maybe. I mean, it's like I said, and I'm playing good cop in this. Maybe it is all some kind of NHI thing going on here. You know what I mean? Sarah McBeast, our BCat says, orbs are kind of uncanny. Stoned Ape, our lovely mod, says, the way it's twirling is like something floating in the air, in my opinion. Days says, drunk aliens for show. All right, people are more. Hey, Tupa, people are thinking this is more NHI, dude, than the other way around.
That's
real
fair.
Quick, here's an example of Joe Rogan knowing, like, kind of being put on game with all this kind of BS. Let's see. Classic clip. Who, by the way, there's this whole other side story that we have to get into at some point. But basically, our friend Arthur included this in a thread that Lou Elizondo literally sent him a legal letter threatening to sue him and to like get his house taken away, because our friend had assumed that he's talking about Lou Elizondo in this clip. But it's funny that Eric Weinstein actually liked the post that my friend did, and that might be hard to follow, but this clip has a lot of. It's funny. Sorry. Okay.
So I was open to this. Sam was open to this, and it's Lucy in the football every goddamn week. When am I headed out to Colorado? Oh, you're going to be met by a car, and you're going to be blindfolded, and you won't know where you are. Like blah blah blah. Okay. This week, next week, the week after. Oh no, if something's come up on the hill, things are getting crazy. We're going to be talking to some very big people. I can't talk to you right yet. So that's been my weird life now, a part of it for like 3 years. I don't know how long.
3 years they've been telling you.
Yeah, and shout out Arthur. His account isn't even big, and he doesn't even really like do news clipping like me and Tupa do. And Eric Weinstein liked this posting that he's talking about Lou Elizondo. So, I mean, can one assume like, is Lou Elizondo and or just place whoever you want is telling people we're gonna blindfold you and take you to the desert? What do you think about that concept in general, Tupa? Let alone the fact that it's also tied to this like Lucy in the football thing. Like, actually, we can't blindfold you and take you yet. We're gonna have to blindfold you and take you in another month.
Yeah, that sounds like a mixture between Elizondo and Corbell. The way he said it sounds like almost a perfect impersonation of Corbell, an impression of him. Yeah, the blindfolding thing was first introduced into the lore in a very realistic way through Diana Pasulka, as far as I know. Before then, it was kind of mythology, right?
But then also, wasn't there some weird thing where Gary Nolan kind of went along with it, and then like recently it was like, oh, that didn't happen, like it's described in her book?
No, I think Gary Nolan had been brought by Travis Taylor to, or Travis, whatever, Tim Taylor, sorry, to the area, but wasn't blindfolded. So there was some theatrics or something about Diana that required a blindfold. But I think when with Gary Nolan's like reveal that he wasn't blindfolded, for me, I lean towards theatrics. Like it's part of this is very important. You know what I mean? You're about to see something
Part of
very
the
serious.
ritual.
Yes, it's a primer.
Yeah. So this is who Joe's been friends with, and a few of his friends have gotten this treatment. Sam Harris, I don't know if they're still close or not. Sam Harris described basically a very similar thing where like for a while they were looking for people to push this message and telling them these things, and you know he liked the post that said it was Lou Elizondo doing this behavior, telling them that we're going to blind. Like, in what context would somebody actually have to be blindfolded? Like, doesn't that just kind of scream bullshit to you? I don't know. It kind of does to me. If it just screams sus. Would you ever let Lou Elizondo? When you were cheese and hard? What would you have done if Lou Elizondo like wanted to blindfold you and take you to the desert to show you some UFO?
I would think it was LARPing still. Like I would
then, right? Even when you were your most sold on the bullshit. Yeah.
Well, because like you look at people, you study people. One of the things probably people like study the most, I think, are like their experiences at like church or in these weird social arenas. And there's something similar to this, to the way they approach, the way the UAP disclosure bros, and the way even Elizondo approaches this. And I mean, all the way back in 2022, it kind of sounded right when McGowan was like, hey, these guys tried to tell me I was psychic. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? That sounds right. That sounds.
Yeah, it all fits. It all fits. And it's always the same group. And they're tied to weirdo harassment. And they're tied to a lot of beliefs that overlap with Scientology. It just works out that way. Okay, who do we got next?
We visited you.
Friend of the show, Jesse Michels. Love Jesse around here.
Love him.
And his homie, forget his name. Sorry. I almost said Pavel, not Pavel.
What is their thing? Seek discomfort. What's their like channel called? Want to give them a little shout out. I'll look into it.
You look it up while it plays.
Hell yeah.
But this is their story of visiting Lou, who lives by Devil's Tower in Wyoming, which is also famous from the Close Encounters of the Third Kind movie, which is a great movie. Which also I think could kind of play into this kind of setting up a ritual thing. And 100%, I'll be honest with you, there definitely would have been a time where I would have been so stoked to be invited to go hiking there. And honestly, probably still would maybe go.
Yeah.
But like, is it not part of the ritual? How many people have we seen like go through there and then like do the hike and like, you know what I mean?
Then get married in a Satanist temple. A couple.
Yeah.
A couple people.
Not Jesse. Although he did choose to film this in a Freemason thing. Which
he really did. Yes Theory, by the way. It's
Yes Theory, yes. All right, so let's see their story of their sighting when they visited Lou.
A couple years ago. I don't know if you remember this.
Do you remember what we're about to say?
Yeah, do you know what we're about to say?
I don't, but you know, it's I've had a pretty interesting life, and a lot of things have happened. So yeah, I'm bracing myself. By the way, that whole thing with the poodle and the lampshade, there were no pictures. It wasn't me. So if that's what you're getting at, no,
it was him. There were pictures.
Yeah, well, this is probably a Tuesday for Lou, but we saw a green orb with you. I don't know if you remember that. It was nighttime. It was
and it was kind of a peak. I remember as it being a peak moment in like a very genuine conversation about the phenomenon, because it was off camera.
He was describing how the sun is a nuclear fusion reactor, and you were going deep into the science. It was fascinating, and then all of a sudden, boom, right over we're by the shed.
Yeah, and it was like I had never. I think Jesse had seen stuff before, but I had never seen anything, and I always, because it was only happened in my peripheral vision, I always call it half a sighting. Right. But when I read about your experiences in the book, it came back very strongly, because I was like, holy shit, I have experienced what he's talking about with him at his house.
A lot of folks have. Look, I at the end of the day, I can only give you my observations. Again, my opinion doesn't matter, because people say, could it be ball lightning? Sure. St. Elmo's fire? Sure. Could it be weird electrical circuitry in the house that's causing atmospheric ionization in a localized area and ionizing the atmosphere? Yeah, sure could be. What I do know are the facts that it was witnessed not only by me and my wife and my kids, but also our neighbors. But it occurred when I got into ATIP. And it also was happening to other individuals that were part of that program. That I do know definitively. So, same description in some different colors. Their stories will probably be coming out here in the near term.
Wow. What was the closest you've experienced an orb?
Right here.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay, well, because with you, like the experience that we're talking about.
So this ties into the last thing too, where it's like, I want to just be like, yeah, they saw a UFO while visiting Lou Elizondo, but it's like I already know about how this dude, and you know, bless his heart, I think Lou's really trying to like stop the harassment, but it did happen, and like it does view my judgments of him that he was connected to like the harassment of so many ufologists and shit like that, and really weird counterterrorism psycho ways. But I think he's trying to be better, so we'll give him kudos there. But like the previous story, Tupa, where let's just run with that. Weinstein is talking about Lou, that Lou is in the back channels, like telling people like, we'll blindfold you and take you to the desert. Doesn't that just show a level of manipulation where like, I can't even take this at face value? Like you have to view that context of like the same dude who's like telling people in the back channels, I'm going to blindfold you and take you to the desert, is also having these experiences when people come around him. Doesn't that just like, if he wasn't that character and he was like a stand-up guy and there wasn't all this sketchiness, I'd probably be more inclined to like think this is like a legit sighting, but I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying there?
Yeah, it's got me thinking that he's like a, you know what I mean, like some wizard or something. You know, why these green little like sparkly orbs, right? What's going on there? Why are they coming around him? Why do so many people report that? Why has he reported it?
And look at the way he kind of his reaction when they say it. He's kind of like, it almost kind of reminds me of Corbell.
Yeah. And it was like we had
He saw a green orb with you. I don't know if you remember that. It was nighttime. It was
also we're
it was
three
kind
for
of
three
a peak-
orbs.
I
by the
remember
way.
as it being a peak moment in like a very genuine conversation about the phenomenon, because it was off
he was
camera.
describing how the sun is a nuclear fusion reactor, and you were going deep into the science. It was fascinating, and then all of a sudden, boom, right over we're by the shed.
Yeah. And it was like I had never, I think Jesse had seen stuff before, but I had never seen anything. And I always, because it was only happened in my peripheral vision, I always call it half a sighting. Right. But when I read about your experiences in the book, it came back very strongly, because I was like,
What does that face look like to you, Tupa? This is his reaction to them being like, we saw a UFO by, I don't know, I might just be cynical.
It looks like success.
Looks like an op, right? Not like a, let's just like, that was crazy what we saw. I was like, yep.
That's the look that Doty gives when someone at the bar buys him a drink.
Yes. Oh my God, what a great analogy. We definitely have to do the Doty stream about that, because that whole saga was just insane. But yeah, and again, dude, this isn't even, I'm not knocking, somebody in the chat said it was Amir from yesterday, so yes, shout out Amir. Seems like a great dude. Jesse, love that guy. He's fucking dope. This isn't a knock on any of them, but it's just like worth noting, right? And also, like I said in the clip, we're 3 for 3 orbs. I think the first 2 were red, and then this one is green.
Or yellow, orange, the color of a flame. This one being green is consistent with the stories that he told, which is wild.
Yeah, which we'll get into next. Now we'll look at, because this was a thing I didn't know like what to include and where not to include. So here's Jen Elizondo,
I would routinely see
friend of the show, talking about seeing orbs, and then we're gonna play the one where Lou says he didn't film it on Theories of Everything, because I guess they're also seeing it, right? So might as well include it. Like, are they opting
orbs?
What do you mean by orbs?
Small little spherical green, lightish green type of color, and you'd be just walking down the hall, and I would just stop, and it would just continue to go right through the wall.
So we're talking about the hitchhiker effect. Something had followed Lou home from work.
Or by his very nature, yes.
How did he explain things? Was he able to talk about what was going on?
Not well.
I could imagine you were pretty angry.
I was very upset. The house had been turned upside down.
Yes, it sounds like the stuff of madness, tall tales, delusions.
So let's just go right into the next one, because it's both. And then actually, I'm
Oh, can we just?
Oh yeah, actually,
can we dive into the statement of "or by his very nature"?
Oh wait, I forgot about that. Sorry, yeah, I was reading
routinely
something.
see orbs.
Let's read it back again. That's only like a 30-second clip. Yeah, or by his very nature. You're absolutely right. Good job, Tupa.
I would routinely see orbs.
What do you mean by orbs?
Small little spherical green, lightish green type of color, and you'd be just walking down the hall, and I would just stop, and it would just continue to go right through the wall.
So we're talking about the hitchhiker effect. Something had followed Lou home from work.
Or by his very nature, yes.
Riff on that real quick. I have to go to the restroom, but I'm gonna try and hustle back.
It's a supernatural statement. It involves the idea that her husband has supernatural abilities or a supernatural attention given to him from whatever is out there, which is esoteric. It's very occultish. If it was revealed after this, before this, near this, later on, that these two individuals were in a cult, and that Lou was some type of high priest in that cult, or a soothsayer, prophecy, or prophesy, or whatever you want to, whatever it is, right? A prophet, there it is. Then you wouldn't be surprised to find that out. The way in which she said that, his very nature, like these orbs have been going, these things, his work, it's all part of a bigger plan. That's kind of the danger of this, of that statement. Now, is that did she mean all of that by that statement? I don't think so, but that's what it implies.
Is she buying it? Does she think Lou has like superpowers?
Yeah, she does.
That's what. Shouts out that we should all find someone who rides or dies with us like that.
Let me rephrase that. By the way she said that, yes, I believe she does think that he does have abilities.
That's wild. All right, let's go to the next clip. It's all kind of tied together with this Lou sighting, but this is another classic moment.
Or like I'm looking at this monitor right now. It's bright, but it doesn't hurt my eyes. It's like a passive illumination. It was glowing. It wasn't like an active spotlight in your eyes. It was just a diffuse green ball. And as you got closer to it, it seemed to get thicker and thicker in the middle.
Were you able to see the interior of it?
There was no interior that I could see.
Quick sidebar: Curt Jaimungal has removed all of his UFO interviews from his channel. I think they're probably private for Patreon members, but they're not. You can't. I think he has some clips there, but a lot of them you can't find. Maybe even this one. What do you think about that? We'll get into. We'll let it ride.
Very telling.
It literally looked like a neon light, where it was more brilliant in the center, and it just became more diffuse. I could not. There was no hard edges. There did not seem to be any technology behind it. There wasn't a device, if you will, inside. It was like, probably best way, like a plasma ball, but not as intense, not as violent, if that makes sense.
Did you ever set up cameras?
So no, we didn't have cameras inside the house. We had cell phones, but back in 2010, I was using a BlackBerry, a government issued BlackBerry, where we did not have cameras. The cameras were disabled. So I did never, and also we couldn't predict the frequency. It wasn't like I had a camera next to me all the time. It's like when you're sitting down and watching a TV show with a family, all of a sudden, whoop, there it goes.
I just mean home set up cameras in the corner, monitoring a room or the outside.
No, we did not. We didn't even have cameras externally. We had an alarm system, but we did not have cameras set up in the house.
So many people may say, look, if there's a suspected burglar that taps on my window, perhaps I'm paranoid, but I would set up the next day 10 cameras all around my house, inside,
sure,
outside.
I would too if it's a burglar.
Now, that may be an overreaction, but...
Well, let me ask you this. When there's a thunderstorm near your neighborhood, do you set up cameras to look at the lightning? No, it's interesting, but most people just look at, that's curiosity, right? That's, wow, interesting. It was the same thing with us. There wasn't necessarily a desire to set up a bunch of cameras because you never knew where it was going to appear.
Dude, I know you got some thoughts on that one.
Well, number one, I think he might be lying, but I actually think that, it sounds like he believes that these orbs are supernatural, that they're not craft, they're not alien induced. This reeks to me of very culty, right? Like, if you believe that these things are not technology, that they're not as violent as some random plasma or ball lightning phenomenon, then they're sent there for what? His wife already revealed it, for Lou, right? By his very nature. So this is like a very weird roundabout way to pat your back on the back, or sorry, pat yourself on the back for being kind of like ordained or holier or something weird.
Somebody in the comments said, can you play the Curt demon thing? I think I can real quick. Let's see if we can do this real quick. You know the story because this is. I think this one I think is actually some kind of weird NHI or something. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but let's see.
I had some experience. I won't go into it here, and it's not a phenomenon. Well, maybe I don't think it's a phenomenon experience where I had to send myself to the hospital because I was typing and then I wasn't typing, and something said to me, "Yeah, you thought you were the one that was in control," and it was using my fingers, whatever it was, and I was freaking the heck. And then it said, "Maybe the crazy ones aren't crazy." Implying, sorry, that.
So that happened to you?
Yeah, and that was I like even talking about it now works me up a bit. So anyway, I called the hospital just to say, you have to come get me because I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not suicidal in the least, but I don't know, like, why would I? And anyway, I went downstairs. I remember the police came first, and I told the police officer, I'm not going to try and grab your gun, which already freaks the police officer out. But I'm like,
right.
Well, I don't know what I'm like. I'm extremely scared right now. So please just treat me calmly and nicely because I'm in a sensitive state right now. And then they just looked at me like, okay, all right, let's just wait until the
right
ambulance gets here.
To the paramedics come.
Yeah, and since then, I almost never use the word crazy to refer to someone.
Yeah,
I think that's a word of condescension, and it also automatically it also implies that one has that their frame is the correct frame, and then it also triggers me. I'm hypersensitive to this, to think about what the heck is reality, and for this line of work that I'm doing right now with Toe.
To clarify for the question there, Android Paranormal, Little Lon says he had a panic attack. Interesting perspective. I don't know enough to know. Android Paranormal says, does he mean like he heard a dismembered voice or disembodied voice outside his head say that sentence? No, I believe he says like the hands, like he had like an automatic writing thing where he didn't want to write it, but he wrote that out with his hands, right? Is that how you read that, Tupa?
No, he heard the voice.
Why
did
he write it out? That there's something about like writing it out or typing it out.
Well, he was still typing whatever I think he was typing before, and then but he realized that now he wasn't in control of what he was typing before. And the thought that came to him when he was like, "What the hell's going on?" was maybe the crazies people aren't crazy or whatever, right? But I don't think that like. Yeah, I think he had a very strange experience. A panic attack, maybe. But you know who else was typing on their computer and had an experience identical to this, but it went even further? Was Deep Prasad. Deep Prasad's typing on his laptop, answering emails in the morning. All of a sudden, he is like, "Hey, something crazy about to happen," and then a portal opens up in front of him, and these aliens come out, and he can't move. He's paralyzed. He loses control of his body. He's got these little things take it over. So it almost sounds like something similar might have been beginning to happen to Curt, but he maybe called or snapped himself out of it, or it could have been a panic attack.
Yeah, maybe if we have time, we'll play that. But we got it. The dispensary closes at 10:30, bro. It closes at 10:30, or you got to be out of here by it closes at 11.
10:30.
Okay, so we want to be out of here before that. Okay, so yeah, that's the Elizondo saga. He didn't film it. Even Curt, right? You could see Curt's like, it's like Curt's a smart dude, and again, another great dude. I think, again, gentleman and a scholar, always been respectful. He's also had some weird interactions with the whole narrative control thing. Like, there was supposed to be some Canadian congressional thing that he was going to be like at the helm of, and then it all kind of fell apart, and there was weird back channel stuff between these counterintel agents and people. Grant Cameron talks about it, and like he talks mad shit about like Elizondo and Mellon about that whole situation, but Curt was a part of that. Point being, yeah, Curt. I don't even think Curt was buying it. Is this on the road to Curt deleting all of his UFO interviews? This interaction, maybe.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What do we got next? Okay, so we got Bledsoe next. We're gonna do a little fun meme thing real quick. So this is Father John Misty. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, Tupa. This is he was in Fleet Foxes when he went solo. This is a song. We're probably gonna have to cut this after, but let's just have fun because this is what he tweeted out about the whole Bledsoe. Careful, actually. Maybe it's a good thing I included this because you're kind of famous and you are plugged in. You might be susceptible to one of these little drone shows, or maybe the real thing.
I had no idea he was interested in this topic at all.
Right? Isn't it funny every time you see someone who's like especially when they're like really like woke on it, like Russell Crowe will be like, "I'm hearing 2027." You're like, "Oh shit, you're in the weeds, bro. You're not just casual." Like, when Diana Pasolka inferred we might be seeing another Paul Bennett situation with Chris Bledsoe, all I could think was I really need to get a life. This is showing knowledge of like in depth of like multiple decades, multiple dynamics. You know what I mean? And being funny with it. Gotta love it. Okay, so how could we touch about this stuff without even talking about Chris Bledsoe? I think first, this one's probably gonna get ripped. But this is when he, with the Skinwalker Ranch crew, which is, like I said, I think the next episode is going to be like a lot of Skinwalker Ranch stories. Their own psyop or angel prophecy thing going on there. But here we go. Come back to
I really like Chris. Like
So here we got Hero of Disclosure, Kelly Chase, the whistleblower, killing it. But here she's talking about a situation at Contact in the Desert, where I guess there was this night watch and Chris allegedly tried to pass off planes as UFOs. Patrick Vetted said the same thing. I think Astral said the same thing. And this is something we've heard in the past where like the worst case of it is even that he tried to pass off, I think, the ISS as a someone's daughter or something, like someone's angel daughter or something like that. Let's let this play real quick.
went to his like thing at Contact in the Desert where he was like
That's a clip, not me.
They got
I
to
was
her.
right, like I was ready, and I was there with bells on, and like, you know, that whole he posted like at 9:45 this thing appeared, and I said that it would. That was 100% a plane. I was
This
there.
was where was this? You cut out for a second there.
Oh, sorry. It was at Contact in the Desert. He was doing like summoning orbs live.
Skywatch.
Yeah, he said don't call it. Yeah, I was there, and I was so
Okay.
excited, and I because I was bought in, fully ready to see an orb, and like he said, you know, at 9:45 this orb's going to appear, and at 9:45 there was a plane that was exactly in a very heavily traveled flight path that was being used all night. It was absolutely a plane. And what really disturbed me about it was that he was telling people live when they're like, no, it's a plane. He's like, no, don't even think it's a plane, because if you start thinking it's a plane, it's going to turn into a plane. And like about that time, I packed up my towel and got out of there, because I was just like, I cannot, not today.
That just made me think of the Stephen Greer clip where he's like, "Turn off your night vision." Okay,
Right.
everybody, turn off your night.
Also, shout out Night Shift. I like what they got going on over there. It's a fun vibe. Also, real quick,
Hell
shout
yeah.
out Lil Lun. Thank you for honey. Hell yeah, thank you.
Honeypotted.
Any thoughts on the clip so far? A lot of concerning things there now.
I love it. I love this clip. These guys are smart. They're thinking analytically. She's spilling the beans. You know what I mean? She's being honest. And yeah, you don't get that a lot. Bledsoe is one of those people who's almost like an untouchable, right? He's so nice. You know what I mean? He's ordained by God, and you know, a lot of stuff that would make him that way, almost mythological figure. And she's finally talking candidly about it. Like, doesn't make any sense.
She's a hero. That's her.
Do not
Kelly,
look at the man behind the curtain.
It's definitely a UFO for sure.
Kelly, can I ask you a question about Chris?
Sure.
I didn't go to the Skywatch. I didn't want to do that. But do you think that he knew that it was a plane, or do you think that he believes it was the others or whatever?
I don't
Speculating.
Chris Bledsoe does not, I mean, I don't know, but Chris Bledsoe does not strike me as a liar. Like, I don't think he's a liar. I think but I think that he, like I said, I think he's been psyoped to hell and back, and he's been made to believe that he's a prophet of God. And I don't know that his relationship to reality is super strong these days. And I think that that's really unfortunate.
Do you think real quick, Sandra, do you think he the vision of the lady and the bull and the prophecy that he received, do you think that was something that was, do you think that was a real experience with NHI, or do you think that was a psyop on him?
I think that was probably real, because that's weird.
Yeah, you got that. Okay, so really concerning though if he's like, don't even think it's a plane, and like people are looking at flight tracker and like,
Yeah.
this is that plane. He's like, you can't even think that.
If you do think it'll turn into a plane, that's weird.
Which I think is what he was saying in the back channels to people with their sick kids. Don't want to get sued though, so that's allegedly. Yeah, yeah, concerning if that's the case. I don't know. I feel like you could only throw the like they're just unknowingly getting psyop, which I think he is getting psyop, but like it's happened a few times where he's like the ISS is a UFO or the ISS is this dude whose daughter died's kid. Like really kind of dark. Okay, let's see.
When journalists.
Okay, we got Matt Ford, friend of the show. We love Matt Ford around here, right, Tupa? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, charismatic.
We got 2 Matt Ford clips. I think we're going to be able to reach the time limit, but let's just like kind of let it ride. This one's more of a human interaction. I'm gonna let it play, and I'm actually gonna. I have to go to the bathroom again. I've been drinking. I just had to drink like 3 Gatorades. Okay, here we go.
Are threatened or intimidated, then that are journalists that are for the CIA or anyone else. They are clean, independent journalists.
I love that, by the way. That little thing is like them being like, well, we could dox her as like Green Street, and like we could. That's what is being said there. Okay.
I'll share a story with you, and I honestly don't remember if I've shared this publicly, but this is just an example of what I experienced. So it was, I think, in November of 2023, myself, Josh Boswell, and Christopher Sharp of the Liberation Times, we worked on a story for the Daily Mail regarding the Deep Legacy Crash Retrieval Program, and in particular, the CIA's Office of Global Access, which had been highly, highly secretive. You might find one reference to it on the internet at that time, but it was very, very locked down. And we spent months interviewing different sources, discussing specifically how DS&T and CIA Office of Global Access was heavily involved in the recovery of these vehicles of non-human origin. We were so careful about our communications. And we did not speak to a soul. We vetted our sources like you wouldn't believe. And the morning that came out, a friend of ours that had worked in worked in the government said to all of us that had written this story, look, when this comes out, this is going to anger a lot of people in the intelligence community. And from this point forward, even if you're in a hotel room by yourself, the names of your sources must never, ever, ever leave your lips again, because CIA and DOD, they are going to want to know how you found out what you found out. And we found out later, actually, that it was a firestorm in the CIA when we outed the Office of Global Access. So anyway, that the story goes live on the Daily Mail. I think it's 7 a.m. Pacific time. And I aired a pre-recorded interview that I shot where we basically interviewed ourselves, Josh, myself, and Christopher Sharp. That morning, I fly to Las Vegas to work on a project.
Real quick, shout out Polarity Josh. Love what this guy's doing. Everyone obviously go subscribe to him. I like that he talks about the occult stuff, and not to hate on people who don't. A lot of people in the field are kind of like afraid to touch the Scientology, the occult ties with some of these people, and he's not. So that's dope. And this isn't, again, to knock on the people who aren't afraid of it. Like, a lot of people just want to look at UFOs, which I totally get. But he's looking at that stuff too. Sorry, just took a big ol' rip. Okay. What else was I going to say? Okay, so even in this, right, what we've heard so far, Tupa, do you have any thoughts? For sure, Matt Ford is kind of like the mouthpiece for Lou Elizondo, for sure, at least. And
well, Liberation Times is
another
as well.
one.
Yeah, is as well. So.
And what they're talking about, this story, the secret office access or whatever, Lou Elizondo actually entered this into his congressional testimony like the day after. Do you remember that? So it was about this same kind of concept. So I'm pretty sure they're talking about Lou here. And again, we kind of see it like with Shellenberger thing, where it's like the same day that this article comes out, there's all this kind of like hype built around it, all this kind of ceremony built around it. And real quick too, we got Tracy Scott here. Love you both, and it's great to have you both back on YouTube. Hell yeah, we're vibing. So yeah, let's let it ride a little bit more.
And so I land about 11 o'clock. So the story's only been live for just a few hours. And so I check into the hotel. I'm staying at the Waldorf Astoria on the Strip. 5-star hotel. I wasn't paying for it, and there's no casino. Very, very quiet hotel. So I get
5-star hotel. He wasn't paying for it, right? So there's somebody else who definitely knows his location and roundabouts ahead of, because you can't just schedule a 5-star hotel the day of, can you? You wouldn't fly to, that would already be pre-done, right, Tupa? Yes, Red, you're absolutely right.
No,
Thank
these
you,
are
brother.
these are arrangements, and the weird thing here, I want people to pay attention. And this is, we all have this, right? We all have this thing where we won't notice the most obvious cause of this. He keeps on saying, no one knew about this. We were so careful, but he told a ton of people, but they were just people on his side.
They wouldn't suspect to be opping.
Yes.
They're the ones who are most likely opping anyone in the situation are the people who have the information, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's
Exactly.
let it ride. And again, I'm not hating on Matt Ford. Hopefully, he doesn't copyright strike this. We're breaking it up. This is transformative work. Yeah, I actually have a lot of empathy for him, because this is like what Tupa's talking about too. These people, when they recount these experiences, you could tell they're like shook up, and there was kind of like an emotional impact at the time. That's like, yeah.
To the hotel, and I go up to the bar to actually answer YouTube comments, and I'm sitting at the bar. I don't drink alcohol, so I'm sitting there having a soda, and this individual that morning that had warned us to never repeat our sources ever again said, "Look, there's a very high chance." AFOSI, CIA, FBI, they're going to try and honey trap you, because they're going to want to know how you found out what you found out. They will want to know your sources. So I'm sitting.
So we got the guy who's telling people that they're going to be blindfolded, taken to the desert, also telling people you're going to get honeypotted over a story, but also you can't. Whenever people, that's why I don't like the back channel stuff. Whenever people are like, "Oh, you can't tell them it was me," though, to me that just gives me the vibe of like a creepy old guy trying to give candy to kids. Like, oh, don't tell your parents, right? Like, I don't know. And then he's telling you you're going to get honeypotted, but you can't tell anyone I'm telling you this. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels manipulative to me.
Well, if you were going to set somebody up, right? And people do this all the time in like the hood and shit, right? You just kind of like, even, you just accidentally line your dude up, and it looks like an accident, right? But you set them up for this thing. He's been primed. Number one, this is all top secret. You're part of some big thing. Number two, go to this hotel. By the way, this is so important that the CIA might try to honey trap you. So be careful. By the way, no one knows where you're at except for like us, this core group of individuals, right? And then it plays out. For what you're going to hear is that it plays out exactly the way it was supposed to. And Matt is galvanized.
A great point, because it's like, what are the odds that someone's going to tell you, hey, you might get honey trapped today, and then you get, we'll let it ride, but listen to this, yeah.
At this bar, and there were literally only 8 people at the bar, maybe 10 at the most. Very, very quiet. This kind of U-shaped bar, and this lady comes in and starts chatting me up. In her mid-30s, attractive, very well spoken. And to be honest, at the time, because I was so laser focused on taking care of work, I kind of blew her off. And so I'm sitting there working, and
hey, he's so laser focused, Red. He didn't notice the hot chick trying to flirt with him. I'm too busy for this. This is so weird. I'm so laser focused on what I'm doing on my work. Freaking weird, dude. Starts chatting him up. Meanwhile, Red's out here exhaling major hits.
Yeah. Woo! Okay, let's just let it ride.
It's this U-shaped bar, and this heavy-set gentleman, maybe in like his late 50s, comes and sits at the opposite side of the bar, this U-shaped bar. And, I kind of noticed it out of my peripheral vision. And I noticed that he's talking with the lady that was trying to chat with me. So instantly my hackles go up. So I'm sitting there typing, and I can hear the guy, because he's not being loud, but you could, his voice was carrying. And all of a sudden I hear the guy say UFO. And I stop typing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what are the chances of me sitting at a bar with 8 to 10 people in it at this 5-star hotel that it's not like you have riffraff or a casino downstairs or whatever. And so immediately my alarm bells go off, and then
he's so close, like the other ones, right? Like, what are the chances of this happening?
I decide, you know what, I'm going to engage this guy. So I look up at him and I say, "Excuse me, sir, I didn't mean to be eavesdropping, but I heard you talk about UFOs." And I said, "Did you happen to read that article that came out in the Daily Mail this morning about UFOs?" And he looks at me and he says, quote, "No, but that article about Lou Elizondo being a liar sure sticks out in my head." And I'm sure I completely froze. And I just, so I'm thinking to myself, what's going through my mind is, number one, Lou hadn't been in the media in well over a year. 2, who even knows who Lou is unless you track this topic? 3, what are the chances of me just happening to run into somebody at some bar with only 8 to 10 people in it?
You're so close,
So
Matt.
I just kind of blurred out, "Well, you should look up the story." And so I go back to my computer and my heart is just racing. And all I can think about is, what is going on? And because we were super secure in how we spoke about everything. Our comm security was locked down. And all I can think about is, how did whoever this is find out where I was going to be? I didn't publicize that I was going to Vegas or anything of that nature. I was very careful not to say anything. And, and hours later, this guy's sitting across from me. And so I'm sitting there thinking, I actually messaged a couple of people on Signal and said, "Hey, this is what's going on. Do I need to be worried?" And folks said, "Yeah, this is."
Another important, huge data point there. He was already primed ahead of the event that you might get honeypotted, you might have some weird interactions. Then he's in the Signal, in the back channels. Don't go into the back channels, especially if it's on Signal. The comms are locked down, or what did he say, Tupa? Our comms are secured. And they're telling him not like, "Hey, no, that might have just been some dude at the bar." They're actively telling him like, "No, I think that actually is like, this is all connected to that story, and like you're being opt right now." And this poor guy, he's like, "My heart's pounding, I'm sweating." We got to make an AI rendition of this, but
it's so funny because he did the whole like, "Hey, did you like he's got this?" Because from my interpretation of the story, he's chilling there at the bar. A younger woman comes up, talks to him. He doesn't have any game. So at some point he just goes back to his computer, at which point an older gentleman comes in and he's boisterous and he's talking about something and he's talking to her. And now that's when Matt said his hackles went up, right? And so Matt's looking for an in, how to get in this conversation. As soon as this guy mentions UFOs, Matt immediately goes into the self-doc. "Oh, did you happen to read that article?" Because he was going to go into, "I wrote it," and that was going to be his in to the conversation.
And again, same day like Shellenberger, he's getting primed before, and in the back channels they're telling him this is actually happening. So,
This doesn't smell right. So I wait about 10, 15 minutes later, and he's still there, and he's talking to the girl. And I finally decide I'm gonna engage him again. So I look up to him and I said, "Hey, did you ever find that article about the Daily Mail?" And he stands up and then he takes his cell phone and he's kind of like, sort of weirdly fumbling with it like this. And while he's doing it, he goes, "No, but that article about Lou Elizondo being a liar sure sticks out of my head." Said the exact same phrase, and he gets up and he leaves. And for the longest time, I was like, "What? Why was he messing with his phone? Like he looked like he didn't know what he was doing." But then I realized he was taking my picture, and.
This made me laugh too, but because we've got to kind of power through some of these, we're going to end it there. But not the whole stream, but clipped by crayons as literally just some random guy. I think that would be a funny AI version of this story, like from the perspective of just the normal guy, and then you have like a sweaty Matt Ford like freaking out next to you.
Dude.
I stand with Matt. I really do feel for him though. I feel for this. I feel like he's in the lion's den or whatever. He's in the center and all, and he's the people closest to Lou are getting off the most. You know what I mean? This is next level manipulation. Unless it really did happen. Was there really this, like, you know what I mean? Did the CIA really find out where he was going to be and do this? And I think the big tell away is that the fact that the like you said too, but the fact that it was kind of set up ahead of time by these people, and then as it's happening, they're in the back channels on Signal saying like, oh yeah, like, you know what I mean, kind of like feeding into it. I think to me that's the tell that the op might be coming from closer to home, and then also the fact that he wasn't paying for the hotel. Why would anyone pay for someone else's hotel?
The house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The fact that it's the same day as the story, like Shellenberger.
And it's Vegas too, which is weird, right? Like it's kind of like a hub for a lot of weirdo stuff going on out there in the desert.
All right. Let's see. Next one. This is gonna. They don't want us to see Matt Ford's thing.
Do you have anything?
Is it? Might have to table that for now. No, it works here. What the hell is going on here?
Do you have any theories on what these are?
Why is it doing this to me? Okay, we'll just do this next one then. Screw it.
Do you have any theories on what these are?
I'll figure it out.
So I do actually. I was mentioning to you. I actually just.
Or actually, you know what? To keep it. Sorry, I'm so troll. To keep it like all centered around Matt Ford while we're still here, I'm just gonna look it up real quick on X. I don't know why that wasn't working. It was working on the other thing. Okay.
This Bustamante fellow really knows how to promote his own brand, dude. He's always wearing his own shirts.
Everyday Spy. Yeah, he's the king of it. And he saw orbs after getting involved with Skinwalker Ranch. So, but here we go. Here's Matt. Here's the other thing I wanted to play for Matt Ford real quick. Okay.
Deputy Assistant.
This is with, by the way, the son of Marshall V. and Summers, who David Grush put in contact with Matt Ford, and his father, Marshall V. and Summers, channeled the Allies of Humanity channeled readings in the 90s, which personally the lore I kind of agree with, and the overall messages are like we can't be like caught on our like with our whatever out or whatever, but just be aware that David Grush in the back channel is promoting the person who channeled the Allies of Humanity literature.
Ooh.
Defense for Intelligence, and I was this was actually at the very first Seoul conference, and you may or may not, or viewers at home may or may not be aware of my experience with this, but I had never had anything happen my entire life. No memory of anything, seeing anything strange in the sky. And I had decided I'd been writing some op-eds, and I'd written some op-eds on U.S. and Russian nuclear policy. And I knew that there were some senators that had been writing legislation regarding UAP. And I, through some political connections, was introduced to a senator's chief of staff. And I said, hey, I want to write an op-ed about legislation being written on UAP. This chief of staff then set up a call, and it was myself and the senator's two national security staffers and their comms person. And when this call was set up, I literally thought the question would be, okay, what are you going to write about? Where are you pitching the article to, et cetera? And first thing they said, this is all off the record. And I said, yes, of course. And then they said, okay, what do you want to know? And I was just completely, I wasn't prepared. I didn't have any questions or anything like that. And I just blurted out, are UFOs real? And it turned into this 30-minute conversation where these Senate staffers from this very powerful senator said, yes, it's real. It's not from China. It's not from Russia. It's a national security concern. We see these things coming in and out of our atmosphere from our space-based assets. They got a little bit cagey when they brought that up. They didn't want to go into details. And the one thing that really stuck out at the end of the call and it wasn't a video call, it was on Zoom voice, is one of the staffers said, our entire life, we may never understand where all of this is from. So that happens, and I'm literally in a kind of state of shock, because I think it's one thing for people on Twitter or whatever to tell you this stuff's real. It's another thing when the intel and armed services staffer of the senator's office tell you, yeah, this is real. It's not made up. And anyway, it was.
Matt, I've had some of those some similar interactions, and people have relayed interactions like that with me. And I think I can say that the abduction phenomenon and a potential hybridization phenomenon are known of in the U.S. government, and it is acknowledged as a massive problem.
Well, so and what happened here, and this is kind of in a long-winded way getting to this, but a couple days later, we started having paranormal stuff happen in the house. And it started with a baby gate getting pushed over in the kitchen. We woke up at 6 a.m. thinking someone was breaking into the house. And we had this baby gate just leaned up against the cabinet on the kitchen floor. And
So to recap, he hears from some Senate staff that UFOs are real, and then this all starts happening.
We looked at a security camera that we had in there, and it looked like somebody literally had just pushed the thing over with their finger.
Wow.
And then about, I think it was 3 to 5 days later, my spouse and I are outside, and this orb of light, probably about the size of like a Mini Cooper, appeared above the house. And there was the paranormal stuff continued. We had banging on the walls and voices, and that lasted for about 4 to 6 months. The orb, there was never more than one. The orb showed up about a monthly basis. I think in total there have been.
Matt, when was this for you? Was that recent?
This was about 3 years ago. This is right when I got into this.
Right when you got in. What do you think, Tupa? What, I don't know if you've heard this.
Very convenient.
But this one has fucking knocking on the walls and voices. That's the next level. If this is a human one, but I'm kind of open to it being aliens too, bro. If I'm being honest, and I'm playing good cop here, so I stand with Matt Ford, hero of disclosure. What do you think though? What do you really think though? Because we haven't heard voices or knocking on the walls from any of the previous ones. If it was just the orb, then I'd be like 100%. But what do you think?
I'll hold out a little bit of hope that it could be the phenomenon, man. I'll give you that. Why not? Why not give a little bit of hope, dude? There's no reason why not, dude.
Cool. All right. And then we're actually doing good on time, so I missed this one. We missed Danny Jones's, and we put him in the thumbnail, so we gotta do this one. Let's see. So here's Danny Jones, friend of the show, was just on Rogan. He's shout out the UFO timeline, and good guy for sure, I think. We learned that it was alien scientists who actually got him to do the Ashton episode with the Crider crew guys.
We're learning a lot. We're learning so much.
Yeah, we should do like a UFO T stream or something, because that's But, so he's gonna recount when he saw a UFO when Chris Bledsoe came to visit. Who, mind you, by the way, we've already saw Kelly Chase, hero of disclosure, say that like he was actively telling people a plane wasn't a plane. So I just think that has to be considered. He's also told people that the ISS was their dead daughter's like spirit angel.
Oh, there's something right on the water. Right on the water.
Here's the video first.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was that Ophelia?
If you could flash for us, and I'm getting it.
That's your orb there.
Right there. It's still in the camera. It's still in here.
You see all these freaking planes.
Thank you.
So.
Oh. Here, someone needs to look through this.
What do you think of the video, Tupa? Is it kind of another one of those things that's kind of like hard to tell because it's out of focus?
No, I think it's a great video. There's some really weird stuff going on, but some of it does seem like low Earth, or like when satellites get low to the horizon, they might reflect more light. And they were out there for hours. Remember what I asked?
Yeah, we're about to
Does
play
it say sincere person?
Very bright. Thank you.
Let's see.
Oh, you see it? It's right there. You see it?
That is an orb.
That is definitely an orb. I'm tracking it here. Do you want to look?
Yeah, can you still see it?
Let me find it.
I lost it.
Danny, this is about your Chris Bledsoe episode. You're a very sincere person, and I hope I'm not putting you on the
Shout out
spot
to
by
Skyfire
asking
News.
this. You shared a video of going out and having a sighting with Bledsoe. And I'm curious, like, number one, amazing video, super compelling. Can you walk us through what that was like, and if what you felt while you were seeing it, and how you feel about it now?
Great,
that. Like, what happened?
great question.
Keemstar, let's go.
Keemstar, the voice.
Chris Bledsoe, the 3 days I spent with him, really.
What that was like, and if what you felt while you were seeing it, and how you feel about it now?
Great,
that. Like, what happened?
great question.
Dude, that Chris Bledsoe, the 3 days I spent with him, really fucked me up for probably a month afterwards. I still haven't fully wrapped my head around what that was all about. Like, when I first met him, when we first met for dinner the first night he came, I was kind of like expecting, and I really was prepared to like pick out any sort of weird personality quirks this guy had, to think like is this guy full of shit? You know, what is this guy going to start talking about? Is he going to start talking shit about people? Like, you know, there's different ways people act when you first meet them, where you can tell, like, is this guy just trying to push a narrative, trying to promote his book, or you know, is this really real? But when I sat down with him and his family, man, I was like, I got none of that. They were just like these very genuine, kind people that were being contacted by all these fucking crazy people in the military and the CIA, and like they didn't know what to make of it. They just like could tell these stories, and they were just like blowing my mind with these stories. And then when he was like, oh yeah, okay, after dinner we're gonna go across the street to the beach and we're gonna summon the orbs, Danny. I'm like, okay, great. I got my camera, we're ready to roll. I had my buddy Steven with me, my producer, and he had his camera with like a crazy telephoto lens on it, and we were gonna try to film it. And we sat out there for probably an hour and a half, and nothing happened. And him and Emily were like saying prayers to the sky, like saying prayers to whatever these things were. Like, please, I think, you know, Chris kept saying, he's like, please, if you're out there, show us a sign. We're going to be on Danny's podcast tomorrow, and we need to let the world know. We need to let him know so he can understand what this is about, so we can communicate this to the world and all this stuff. And
Pretty solid Chris Bledsoe impression. He doesn't like lean into it super heavy, but he definitely changes his voice, and it sounded like him. Let's go on that.
prayers to whatever these things were. Like, please, I think, you know, Chris kept saying, he's like, please, if you're out there, show us a sign. We're going to be on Danny's podcast tomorrow, and we need to let the world know. We need to let him know so he can understand what this is about, so we can communicate this to the world and all this stuff. And I was just like, after an hour and a half, I'm like looking at Steve, like, Steve, this might be fucking bullshit, dude. And about 2 hours in, we fucking started to see these, we saw a couple of these things, because there was airplanes flying around, like there was air traffic flying off of the Gulf of Mexico into Tampa Airport. So it was like, oh, is that one? It's like, oh, no, that's an airplane coming in. Oh, is that one? Nope, another airplane. So we started to notice the patterns of the airplanes flying in. But then we started to see these things pop up out of the water, like coming off like way far away off the horizon, right? Like appearing off of the edge of the horizon and like moving side to side. And then like going down, moving up, then like maybe two of them moving. And I was filming this through his, he's got this like little monocular video camera thing that like shoots it in super low light. And I was like I was holding it and I was filming it, like following it. And there was a couple times where this like a shooting star flew above me and his daughter's head, maybe like 30, 40 feet in the air. really fucking weird. Like it was really bizarre. I don't know what it was. I don't know how to explain what it was.
Do you remember if he says anything more? Just because we are kind of running short here on time.
No. We can go to the next.
What do you
clip.
think about this though in general? What's your take on this? Human op, real thing? They're seeing orbs.
Well, like it seems weird because like they were out at dinner for a long time. Then they went out and it took them a lot longer, right? Another hour and a half before they saw anything. 2 hours before anything happened. That's a long time. You know what I mean? It's almost like if there was anything out there moving, a satellite or whatever, that's what they could have seen. And based on the videos, it's not conclusive what they were seeing. These things weren't necessarily flying over their head.
And based on the fact he'll look at a group of people looking at a plane and say, "Don't think it's a plane. You got to believe it's not a plane."
Yeah, that was a little fishy. That's a little weird. But this is a great example.
Little sus, yes. Great Keemstar with the alley-oop with a great question. Danny Jones, the homie, came in the space. Okay.
I really love.
Do you have any theories on what these?
Okay, Andrew Bustamante, who, funny enough, he was in the earlier Chris Bledsoe clip with the Father John Misty music. He's there doing the thing. Did you catch that? Right? He's there for that little like psyop. Did you notice that?
Nice.
Let me see.
Do you have any theories on what these are?
So I do actually.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was there for the Bledsoe thing.
Look, we'll see right here. There he is.
Hey, you want to hear something interesting?
Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is again.
Well, here's me. I don't know if like Danny and Bustamante, they know each other well. I think they would consider each other friends. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? But they know each other very well. And Bustamante told Danny like basically about this experience, and it helped Danny. It was one of those primers for Danny. Like, okay, there might be something to this.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
Like this thing?
Mm-hmm. Before it aired.
There he is. Boom. The man, the myth, the legend. Okay, so yeah. Anyone doesn't even know, this is the guy who's like allegedly an agent who goes on all the podcasts, who recently began, or now probably like a year or 2 years, joined up with Skinwalker Ranch. When they're fresh, huh? When they're fresh, like we all know you're talking about Skinwalker Ranch, brother. Like, you know what I mean? You're not kidding anyone. Chat, is the hair real or is it a wig? Comment in the live chat. Comment if you're watching after the fact. Is the hair real or a wig? Tupa, any thoughts on that?
These questions. We got
50,
to look
50.
at data.
Got the gist there. He starts seeing orbs after joining the Skinwalker Ranch crew in cast. I mean, that makes sense. What do you think? Real or fake?
I don't know about him yet. I really don't. I don't try. I'll say this: I don't trust him yet.
Love the screen pause we're on. Let's analyze Andrew Bustamante.
He looks so deranged there.
He looks stoned. He looks like super stoned to me. I want to think he's a chill guy. I mean, Julian Dory says he's a cool guy, right? Like they're like actually really good friends, right? Or
Well,
something like that.
I think to them, you know, he's a huge asset. Like
He probably helps them out, and like,
Yeah.
but also is that the manipulating? Is that does he funnel them? Right? Is it your best friend controlling your narrative? Kind
They
of
have to
situation?
know that they're
Yeah, they have to know.
that their CIA connect that's getting them all these other people. They have to know that like they could be getting psyoped a little bit or used. You know what I mean? As useful as idiots sometimes. So
Yeah. All right, we're almost done. So look at this. Look at us. Look at us. So this is I tweeted out back there. We're gonna end with some Esalen vibes.
Ooh.
Me at the Esalen Demon Occult Ritual when the Molly starts to hit. Actual footage.
no, those clips aren't in the film. Those
Oh,
are-
really?
Those are deleted scenes.
Those are
yeah.
deleted scenes?
Uh-huh.
Oh, thank God.
It goes so hard. It's tight.
They should have left it in. What is Esalen for the people, Tuba?
Esalen is a type of like institute or it's you'd call it like an institute or maybe like a new age kind of temple where people congregate, and it touches all different types of lifestyles and people from billionaires to rando hippie musicians, maybe actors and stuff like that too. But it's all about ascension. It's all about your soul. It's all about very woo. It's the woo, one of the woo capitals of America.
Oh shoot, I am unmuted. Okay, cool. Kind of like the Monroe Institute kind of thing.
Yes, the Monroe Institute would be another woo capital of America.
I'm trying to see if I could pull it up, because in my Edgar Mitchell documentary, I do talk about Esalen a little bit, and it would be good to have pull up. But yeah, so it's one of these woo capital things. Let's maybe let this ride, or actually, can you talk about maybe this photo and the fact that there was this kind of Skywatcher event where people suspect that was Grush? I mean, there was never really a hard yes or no on that. Do you think that was Grush there with Jake Barber and Ross Coulthart?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it was. This is Coulthart talking about Esalen, their experience there, and Esalen is known for being a woo capital. It's not something that's new, right? It's been going on probably since the 70s or before. Jack Sarfati has frequented the place along with other legends, right? Like big legends in the scientific community, in the think tank community, and so it's kind of well known. But this is weird when there was this crossover between these UFO insiders and Esalen. It became kind of strange because you leave academic rigor and you lean more into, I guess, magical thinking when you incorporate Esalen there. So yeah, it's interesting.
Real quick, here's from my Edgar Mitchell documentary where they talk about Esalen a little bit. This is the part of the story, and this actually isn't even public right now because I have to fix the audio bit. But Edgar Mitchell has all these weirdo experiences in space. Weird, I mean just like anomalous. His mother gets healed by a faith healer. He has this kind of like almost like DMT like experience in space, which I think a lot of astronauts report. But then it's going to talk about how he searches for a kind of Eastern Western thing, and then it goes into Esalen. So let's see.
Happened to his mother's vision.
Vintage
What is the
panda
phenomena
here.
behind what crashed in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947 that many respected members of his hometown attested to, and that was now being attested to by a brilliant man he respected, Werner von Braun? Were we really being visited by some advanced non-human intelligence? Were all these things somehow related?
Oh yeah, and Werner von Braun told him Roswell was real and that the Nazi paperclip scientists were there.
Ed found that the place that was beginning to ask these kinds of questions were found in what today we call the New Age circles of the
Edgar Mitchell,
1970s. What drew Ed to these circles was his profound experience in space. He found that Eastern learning helped him understand what he felt more than any Western materialistic view could. Ed soon learned the Eastern concept of samadhi, which best encapsulated the feeling of oneness he had in space. During this time, Ed was known to attend places like the Esalen Institute, a Lawrence Rockefeller-funded institution about an hour south of San Francisco, founded in 1962 with the intention of promoting human potentiality by way of seminars on everything from massages to drug-induced mysticism. What attracted Ed to places like this is these were some of the only places in the West that were studying Eastern mysticism. Esalen became synonymous with the hippie culture that was developing in the United States, and this nonprofit helped bring yoga, organic food, and meditation into the American mainstream. Some notable people who would go through Esalen during the times Ed was there were Allen Ginsberg, writer, poet, and one of the founders of the beatnik generation; Timothy Leary, a Harvard psychologist turned rogue critic of the war on drugs, and an advocate for mind-altering substances; Alan Watts, an English writer, theologian, and speaker known for interpreting and popularizing Eastern philosophies such as Buddhism, Taoism, and Advaita Vedanta for a Western audience; and Joseph Banks Rhine, the Duke University parapsychology person whose work Ed had been following for years at that point. It should be noted I did come across some stuff researching that would indicate that the CIA would use Esalen as a front for when they wanted to do experiments relating to psychedelics and stuff like channeling. I'm not completely sure about this, but it would not surprise me. Some go as far as to say that this place, Esalen, was a continuation of MKUltra. I would love to see some discussion in the comments about Esalen.
Prophet Panda again. I was fresh in this topic too, and I was like, I can't just be pumping up Esalen, right? I was like, because I was coming across some stuff. It's like, oh, it's a little shady, bro. There's some weirdness going on here. I'm gonna claim it for a Prophet Panda moment because now we got Ross Coulthart live getting MK Ultra at Esalen. Let's see. Okay, where are we at now? Okay. And let's just hit this one again one more time. Woo! Oh yeah. We do got a super chat. Another one from Lil Lun. Thank you. $50. Why did Carl Ellis
Dang.
swear? That's a great question. I think we did cover it when on my backup channel when his lawyer was threatening to fight him. I might want to check that out on the live streams in the past. But yes, thank you so much for that. Tuba, what did you think of my Prophet Panda assessment of Esalen there back in that might be like 2019?
Dang, yeah, very good, very good. Woo capital, dude.
Yeah.
And like Mitchell was super woo. I mean, the guy was.
Dude, you know what I came across recently that I hadn't before, but it's like, of course, you already know. What did he
Scientology.
dabble with during that time?
Remote viewing.
Oh, that's already a known. But what religion did he dabble with in this time period?
Rosicrucianism.
Nope. Starts with a S.
Scientology.
Yep, he dabbled with it. He was a Scientologist for a little bit of time. Hopefully just a little bit. They probably just made their own little offshoot, and that's what we're all experiencing with the disclosure movement. And this is all... maybe it's not. Anyways, here we go, Ross Coulthart. And then we're almost done, Tupa.
A retreat that took place at Esalen, which is a beautiful location, 3.5, 4 hours south of San Francisco on the west coast of the USA. And it was a gathering of very high net worth individuals and brilliant scientists and some inordinately talented people. And yes, Jake and I attended that retreat. And to some degree, I am bound by confidence. But what I can tell you is I witnessed a psionic who I know, a person with alleged...
Tupa, is there ever a reason to be like bound by confidence at a UFO event? Is that not just red flag central?
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason.
Like, it's never a good... like, what could it possibly... like, okay, we all saw UFO, like, why can't you tell people that?
Yeah, because the high net worth individuals there, like, not that this is ever going to happen, but don't ever invite me, anyone out there, don't ever invite me to some place I can't talk about what I saw.
Exactly, 100%. And Polarity Josh says, I'm pretty sure Ross alluded to the idea that everyone was naked at Esalen. That also might be part of the confidentiality. He was a little... there were some vibes there.
Psionic abilities, psychic abilities. Listed in a group of people, probably 30 or 40 people, go into a deep meditative state. And I just want to say, this person had said to me at 4 p.m. that afternoon, Ross, we're going to see a blue orb tonight. And I kind of giggled nervously.
Another
And
orb.
anyway,
Have
what
you noticed
happened
they've all
was
been orbs,
He
Tupa?
starts meditating.
There hasn't been a single like metallic craft in this.
Yeah,
movie.
they're all points of light, which is exactly what
Yes.
people like Robert Duncan talk about, how we can easily do that by just crossing 2 laser beams right in the same spot, which will produce a plasma ball.
They're all orbs. Never a craft. Never a saucer. Never an airship.
And
Never a being.
Bing, up on the far horizon over the ocean, these 2 white orbs, slightly golden at times, they start coming towards us. And I won't embarrass this gentleman, but there's a certain person of extraordinary high wealth and extraordinarily big heart who's yelling at these objects going, we love you, come closer, come closer.
Who's that? He's talking about George Soros. He did an accent on there. Who is he talking about? Extremely high wealth. Gave him that accent.
Okay, that was a dead-on impression. I don't think it was, but that impression, if it was Elon Musk, was really good.
Oh, okay. Maybe actually I can't do it too low.
And the whole audience, you know, we've all been meditating and being invited to sort of try and psychically connect. And I am a miserable failure of a meditator. If anybody wants to teach me how to meditate, I'd be very, very grateful. But something happened, and I suspect it was our psionic operator who made the connection, because he later indicated to me that in his mind, he was inside that object and he was bringing it towards us. And the audience's loving engagement, and I know this sounds hippie-ish, I'm just telling it like I heard it and saw it. But essentially, the loving engagement with that phenomenon encouraged it to come closer. And they did. They came closer and closer and closer. And I'm not going to give away too much because it's for Alex Clokus and the Skywatcher team to reveal how much they want to reveal, because it's a beautiful story. But basically, I'll tell you this. We were in one part of Esalen, and there were a whole lot of people in the hot springs at Esalen on the other side of the hill. And I'm far too shy as an old guy to go and sit in hot springs with beautiful young women. But there were essentially a bunch of
Fuck it, Ross. I
beautiful
believe
young
in you,
people
bro.
sitting stark naked in these hot springs on the other side of Esalen. And all of a sudden, they see these blue shapes coalescing in front of them. And sure enough, we got images from the hill looking down of a blue orb. A beautiful, at times octagonal looking blue orb, which kind of hovered near the naked boys and girls in the hot springs. And then it went and landed on the beach. And it was hilarious because I'd said to the lovely young psionic, I'd said to him, well, mate, that was pretty amazing, but I didn't see any blue orb. And he was a bit puzzled. And then literally at the moment that we're talking about the fact that we hadn't seen the blue orb, it turned out it had manifested itself to these beautiful young people on the other side of the hill who were all stark naked and probably, I think, in their naked innocence, more attractive to the phenomenon. I have to admit, I'd be going and having a look at them rather than me and anybody else with clothes on. And it was quite beautiful because these people were all very touched by that experience. And yes, there was a blue orb, exactly as was predicted, that showed itself.
Exactly as predicted, Tupa, just like Matt Ford's, exactly as foretold. I don't know. Let's see. Any thoughts on this before we have one more little video that's kind of tied into the Esalen thing? Yeah, this is also the left-handed people. This is all tied into the left-handed gay thing. Yeah, I might have maybe we'll play a meme after.
And he said...
So this is another perspective of the whole Esalen story, and this is all kind of around Jake Barber and whatnot. Again, I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone. We're just putting all the data points on the table, and everyone can look at it however they want. And before we get into that real quick, we got another super chat. We got Telekinetic says, Red Tupa, any hope for real disclosure progress post next hearing? I like to be cautiously optimistic. I try not to, because you know what? People already say I'm such a hater for all the shit we call out and like, you know, the dead baby photo thing with Lou and all that. I try and be optimistic. It's really easy to be a bummer downer, but yeah, I don't know. I'm optimistic. When you look at the big scheme of things, you look at the 60s, 50s, 70s, like stuff's still happening, right? There may be a lot of crazy Scientologists running amok in the mix of it all, but like every day there's like, you know, JD Vance talking about like it's never been a better time. And if it doesn't happen here, then it's probably never going to happen. I don't know, Tipo, you have any thoughts on this question from Telekinetic?
I think that top-down disclosure is kind of a little bit of a pipe dream, and the idea that there's going to be a government disclosure that gives us what we want, we'll be waiting a long time. What we think that this stuff has such big implications on the power structure and our place in the universe that it would literally throw a wrench in the way that government's working, the way that society's working. And I don't see the government doing that voluntarily. So I think a lot of this stuff is helpful when it comes down to how these findings may have been incorporated into technology, into government itself, maybe into energy. But as far as like disclosure, those real deep answers, I think that some of that stuff's going to be done through independent researchers and people compiling other people's stories.
Polarity Josh with a great insight. Scientology has definitely been reskinned into something else, maybe literally modern ufology. Yeah, and Josh has covered this on his channel. Maybe at some point we're definitely going to do a Scientology thing. I think that'd be an epic panel. Me, you, Tupa, and Josh on this channel. I do want to go on his channel soon at some point too, so that'll be cool.
Hell yeah.
Okay, last one. This is another the Esalen thing, but from the tech bro billionaire perspective. I forget this guy. I forget his name. Sorry, I think they say it. But he's like a billionaire who like made like Facebook games, like, and he just got rich off that. But he's like super tech bro, super Bay Area. And he's talking about, I think, the other perspective of, I think it has to be Skywatcher, of getting proposition for money, and then also kind of just the way that he didn't go to Esalen, but his friends did, and they also saw the same thing I think Ross did. But it's just interesting to hear another perspective. Yeah.
He claimed that in running these war games for the Defense Department, it inadvertently was summoning these UAPs, these drones. He's making a documentary about the fentanyl crisis and how documenting how China has dumped it here. And he said, you've got to meet with me and this guy. While he was working on that, he was interviewing a former DOD contractor who had worked for them for decades and said, I've got a lot on fentanyl, but I have this whole other thing to show you about these UAPs. And he'll just tell you his claim. So they came and met with me, and we had to meet outside and put our phones in Faraday bags.
Faraday bags. Yeah.
Faraday bags. So it was a good setup, if nothing else. And he claimed that in running these war games for the Defense Department, it inadvertently was summoning these UAPs, these drones. And he had tons and tons of video of it and classified them. I'm just telling you what he told me.
Let me guess. All the drone videos look like they were
I
shot on an 8mm 1968 camera.
Look at when you're outside the bubble, how we sound to people, right? Like, what? You're getting bullshitted, bro.
Wait, hold on, Jason. Mark, just explain this. So the United States is simulating war games.
Yeah.
And what is it doing exactly that's causing these drones to show up?
He did not tell me what were the
games.
What were the exact triggers but he said different things would trigger a different one, and he classified them, and he said some of them were.
That's an interesting sentence. He classified them. The person pitching him and asking for money for whatever reason. And it could have just been like a slip of the tongue. He wasn't really thinking about it, but I don't know. He can't tell me how they're doing it, but he wants all this money. Weird.
Aggressive from an electronics and would take out electronics and communications.
Wow.
And he was interested, and my friend was interested in saying, okay, can you put up a couple people $1.5 million to recreate this and film this? And I thought about it. I even had him go meet with Reed.
Even met with Reed.
And didn't move quickly. And then he went dark on us and stopped responding. $1.5 to recreate this and film this. And I thought about it. I even had him go meet with Reed and didn't move quickly. And then he went dark on us and stopped responding. Some friends of mine went to.
Isn't that weird? That whole kind of timeline, I feel like, of the propositioning for money and then going dark, and it's just kind of maybe just the way it works, but I don't know. We're
to a gathering at, and
he's clearly talking about Esalen there. They bleeped it out, but we all know.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was on multiple things related to this. And they said that this guy was there and that he summoned one of these. They kind of said it looked like a large drone. And my friends showed me some pictures that they took, which were it was at night and they were really grainy.
Come on, stop.
I'm not making this up. I'm just telling you.
Just one piece of advice with this documentary film stuff. You know how to make $100 million in documentary films, right, Pincus?
Yeah, start with $1 billion.
Start with $1 billion. You're the mark in all of this. You're just a mark. This guy needs $1 million to finish his house or something in Topanga Canyon.
Fair.
And you're the way to do it. So
I didn't fund
You're the mark.
I didn't fund it.
Okay, good.
So all I'm saying is that I think that there's a possibility that there is
looking for
some kind of drone
believe.
that's getting that is showing up, and I'm not saying it's even from from non-human making.
I believe it. I am looking. I'll be honest, because I am looking for a reason to believe in this. I'll be honest. Like, I know my bias. I am very sympathetic when I hear these stories. I listen way too long, to the podcasts on this stuff.
Are you donating to Alex Jones?
No, but
are you a subscriber?
No, but I. Okay, how about this?
And he claimed that in doing.
There we go. That's it for now. Like I said, we got a whole nother episode coming up here, probably about Havana and all these other kind of weird, like more of the Matt Ford stories, like the Eric Mitchell story. But what do you think so far, Tupo, of everything we looked at? How are you feeling?
This is wild. I like that last clip. You actually found one of the high net worth individuals, right? Who was at the place, who was being courted, and his friends saw through it right away, dude.
Yeah.
You're like, you're the mark, bro. Like, you're the
And
mark.
he said, he claimed.
Just do that on there while we talk about it. But yeah, I think you got to head over to the dispensary, right, brother? Closes in 15. Hopefully you got enough time there.
Outed.
Thank you guys. We'll probably be on X. Great chat. Good vibes tonight.
Good question by Polarity too. Good to see everybody in the chat, man. Red, great stream, dude. This is awesome. We'll be back.
I'm going to
back
cover
whenever
that
you
in my
want.
drone part 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, too, we're going to do, I think, a stream this week we're bringing back Fringe and Doomer. So we're going to, there's been a lot of news in the 2027 end of the world stuff. That was an epic 4-hour stream. Hopefully this one, I don't think will be that long, but hopefully that'll be this week. But yes, thank you, Tupa. Get to your thing. Thank you, bro, for hopping in here. I hope everyone has a great time. God bless.
Man.
Peace.
Good stuff.